All right. Okay, so let me share my screen. Everybody see that okay? Can you see it yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's go with Alan to start. Did I get it twice?
Nice.
What's this? Oh, must be something else. All right. There we go.
So we had a model shoot up in Calgary there a few weeks ago,
Uh-huh.
and this is just one of the shots that I brought in. It was held in the library there, so it was actually looking through the shelves and the books.
Okay, so it wasn't that Adamaski,
Well, I kind of did a little bit of
a
that.
little bit of that. Yeah, I was gonna say, it looks like you did your little
A
blur
little
thing.
bit of the blurring, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was nice before I did it, but I kind of like it the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
just-
Were there,
Makes sense.
That's neat that you have blur in front, blur behind, blur
Yeah.
on top.
Yeah.
Is that some kind of a,
Well, the
Okay.
original photo is, because it's focused right on our eyes here, and it is out of focus at the books, because it's probably like 3 feet away from, maybe 2 or 3 feet away from that.
yeah,
And then I just blurred it out a little bit more.
Mhm.
than usual.
was there a little more of the lips in the original
No.
or no? About the same? Okay.
Because there's a book, these are books right in front of her, so.
Yeah, I wonder if you shouldn't just get
Cross it in a bit.
tighted on the subject and see what happens.
I had another one, and it was really neat to draw, but
ooh, that's nice, Sandy. Alan, that's
Yeah.
really nice. That's
Yeah,
good
I think,
deal.
I'll
Yeah.
I like that,
yeah, I'd come in tight on it.
yeah.
Yeah, a little
That's
too
really
much
nice.
distraction otherwise.
One thing I might consider is lightening the iris just a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, there's some cool things in, do you have Neo?
Yeah.
You do, good. All right, let's hang on here. Let's move you guys up so I can see my icons. So in Neo, they got this whole thing
I
for
don't have the latest Neo, but it's all pretty good.
see if I can just drag it in. Doesn't want to do it straight.
It's just slow.
Hang on, let's see. It was the first shot here. Let's see if we can just drag it in. Do it that way. There it is. Okay. So they have this cool thing, and it's been in Neo, I think pretty much since its inception, is there's a portrait area.
Yeah.
And so under face, I think it is.
Yep.
Yeah, there
Down at eyes.
eyes here. So you can do visibility, kind of kick that up a little bit. There's a thing called iris flare, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
See how it,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, if the highlight's up here, the opposite end is going to be a little bit of flare. So if your highlight's here, so it's going to flare here.
Yeah, these bookcases are all illuminated, so.
Yeah. You can even enlarge the eyes if you want to make them a little bigger. Like, woo. Yeah, but maybe just a teeny bit. And then you can whiten them a little bit.
Wow.
And then it has this enhancer, which is pretty
Oh.
nice. And you don't have to mask or anything. It just sees it with AI and figures it out. Now, she had some really dark circles there. You could remove them. She's got a little bit. Let's see what it does. Yeah, it tones it down a little bit.
And you can change the eye color too.
Yeah, yeah.
You can change what?
Eye color.
With the iris, you can actually put different irises in.
Oh,
Like that. Yeah, you know, you want to give her green eyes or hazel. Yeah.
I knew it is. but I think
Yeah,
it's-
yeah. Let's see, honey eyes. There you go.
Honey eyes.
Yeah, that's kind of like the,
Owl.
I like the blue
I
one.
like the blue.
Yeah, goes with the background. Yeah, so you can have some fun with that.
And can you change the level of blue in that, or is that you thought basically?
That I would do with masking, yeah, I think at that point. Although maybe, you just take the enhancer. Yeah, just take the enhancer down. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, once you change them, yeah, you can do that.
That's incredible, Alan.
So that could be fun.
And
Yeah.
this is just a little bit, going down the rabbit hole thing.
Love it.
This is, the bikes down at the gardens there.
Uh-huh.
Gardens.
Mhm.
And it's in Topaz, there's a couple of Topaz things. One's the line one. And the other one's the expressionism.
Expressionism, yeah, that's always nice, yeah.
You know,
like
I just like the cartoonish type way it came out here. So.
Yeah, I like what's going on in the wheels.
Yeah. Is that expressionism?
Prismatic
Yeah.
wheels.
Expressionism. I like it.
Yeah, it's just different.
Wow, Steve just went into Mount Fuji. Boom, he's gone.
Oh, wow.
Playing in Mount Fuji.
That's big.
It's magic.
Yeah, you just got sucked up by Mount Fuji. Woo.
And yes, one of the herons I got the other, probably just about a week ago, went down to the pond, got this guy taken off.
Canoa Ranch.
And I walked around, and then here's another heron and an egret up in the tree.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Was this afternoon or morning?
That would be in the morning, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, about 9 o'clock maybe.
about 9 o'clock.
I think they may be permanent residents down there.
Yeah, first I've seen them.
Yeah.
For a long
This
while.
blue heron's been around forever. He used to be in where the park is now. That used to be the golf course. He used to be in the water hazards over there. And then in the morning, I'd see him up on my neighbor's house. He looked like a weather vane. He's sitting on top of the chimney,
Yeah.
with his wings out, drying off and catching the morning sun. So he's been around a long
unusual to
time.
see such big birds on a tree though, right? I mean, I know they go there, but it's just an unusual sight.
Yeah, well, yeah, and they're kind of unusual to see here in general. So,
Anyway, some nice colors on them.
yeah, very nice.
It's nice that
And
it's right across the water, and
Mhm.
that water space.
He's just a little bit too high though. I'd have liked him dipping his wing in the water.
Dripping the wings.
Yeah, yeah. Very nice.
Nice picture.
And this is from the other night there, so I went down to the golf course to take photos of the Milky Way, and it hadn't quite came up, so I just turned the camera around and took this view.
This Canoa Ranch golf course or different? one?
Torres Blancas.
Oh, Torres Blancas. Okay.
What's your exposure time on?
That's probably about 13 seconds.
13 seconds.
13 seconds.
Okay. And then the Milky Way
Milky Way's coming up, so
starting to come up. Okay.
it was about maybe half an hour away from coming up, but not in that direction. It was at 90 degrees.
Okay. So did you composite that in or what? That was just the stars that were available.
That's what we see there. Yeah,
Nice.
That's a one-shot deal. I
Excellent.
just like the composition of the
Mhm.
bridge.
What hole is this? Do you know? Or?
It's right at the end. It's right at the parking lot.
Really? I'll have to get over there. I have not seen this.
I'm thinking of going back there. It's probably too late now, but trying a few other kind of shots.
Is Milky Way still coming up at a reasonable hour or is it
It's about 2:30,
about 2:30 in the morning? Yeah.
but the moon's coming up now, so
Oh, yeah. So you get conflict.
a little bit of a conflict there.
Yeah,
Probably
too
still get away with it tonight,
Yeah.
providing it's clear.
Yeah. Nice.
Some giant carp in that pond.
There is.
Is there?
Yeah.
Big guys.
You know, I'm surprised that the ospreys haven't cleaned them out.
I think they're too big.
They're that big, huh? Wow.
Big.
Ospreys would be going underneath.
Yeah. Wow.
Good battle. Ooh, ooh, nice. Yeah.
That's
Wow.
really nice.
Yeah, that's a wow. Beautiful.
So that's at 90 degrees to where the other one was.
Okay.
So my,
I love the lighting in here.
original shot was a little bit in the dark side, a little underexposed, so. Right now.
That's really.
Did you do any light painting on this or?
There's no light painting.
Okay.
The clubhouse behind us
Oh, you're getting some
is
ambient.
a little bit, it's amazing, just a little bit of light, just really
Yeah. Yeah, those are exposures. It doesn't take much.
doesn't take much.
Was so much, no wind at night?
A little bit of a breeze. If you look at that previous shot, you can see the wind on the water,
Yeah.
but there was no wind in this one. Okay. See
Yeah,
that?
I do see a little.
Mhm.
And there was actually
Oh, yeah, it's
another
good.
shot that I had that there was, didn't look like there was any, it looked like the water was totally fine.
Water looks pretty flat.
But here's a question for you here. So the stars are pretty sharp in the sky, right?
Mhm.
But I think they could be sharper. But I think in the water and the reflection, you can see them movement.
Mhm.
Just, I thought they'd be sharp, you know?
Not with water, you're gonna get a little bit of movement, especially at that long exposure. Did you do stacking on these or
This is a one shot.
it's a one shot? Okay.
Alan, is that the sun going down or the moon coming
No,
up?
I think that's some town.
City lights.
Yeah, town lights.
Yeah, that's, I think that's it.
Town lights.
So the grain you got rid of in
Just in
Lightroom or?
in Lightroom. yeah.
Mhm, okay. Yeah, the
It wasn't
grain.
all that green because it was at 1600 ISO.
Oh, 16's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was your length, like a 1.4 or
2.8.
2.8? Okay,
That's great.
nice,
Beautiful shot.
nice. So I remember last time we went out, got a lot of grain and
You got,
Stacking
it's
help.
a finicky thing, you gotta know what there's just.
yeah. And the other problem was, I think the cold doesn't help.
The gold.
Yeah, when it's
This is
really cold.
actually pretty warm, it's about 14 degrees when I took those shots.
Mhm. 14 Celsius.
Yeah.
Okay. Say 14 Fahrenheit, but you're
What?
a little too cold for me.
Focus on the stars. The star, you have to zero in on the star. That's the hardest bit about this, is getting that focus right. And actually, I was gonna ask you, do you have one of these loop things? To magnify your.
Your screen, yeah, you
Yeah,
could do
is
that.
one there?
Yeah, I still got a bunch of them from when I used to do view camera.
I've just ordered one on Amazon, I think that would probably help.
Well, the other thing that helps is you put on manual focus and you focus on infinity in the daytime before you go out there. And you take a piece of tape and lock it down.
That's what I've done that.
And
I've
that
kept
helps.
This lens
Yeah,
locked for quite a while now, but
yeah.
I think it's.
And then
also-
double check it. If you can find something far away, at least, at infinity, that's a point source, like a street light or something, or a light in somebody's house, and then focus on that and make sure it's still sharp,
Yeah,
because sometimes temperature will affect that too.
yeah.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I do a lot of gremlins in night photography as well. Well, very nice. I really like this one.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, and this one, if you crop
I'll
in.
do that, yeah. I'm gonna
Yeah.
crop that in.
Yeah, nice, nice. All right, let's go, Dave Bichart. Oh, that looks like a heck of a lot of fun.
Okay, great, Alan, I appreciate that laugh, because what I got for you today is eye candy. Okay, guys, the theme throughout is gonna be gumball machines, and they're all composite images.
Good fun.
You know, I montage in various elements, and then there's a panel on the top and the bottom composed.
What is that at the bottom?
They're stained glass windows. And in the next picture, I'll tell you why I use stained glass windows, but you know, I'm making these collages. They're art, it's pop art.
Yeah.
So. Okay, so this is the first one I created. observed this gumball machine in an antique store in Mokelumne Hill in the Gold Country. And behind it, in the antique store, was a fruity stained glass window with the light shining through. So that's when I noticed the window. And as I was going through my stock, I saw the window, I saw the gumball machine. I said, let's try something. So I triplicated the gumball machine and built out a Tutti Frutti stained glass window. So that's what gave me the idea of using stained glass windows with the gumball machines. It was kind of random, but I went with the idea throughout this series. And I call this one Gumball Tutti Frutti.
Well, it works.
The blues go with the machines, so that's what I like.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
What do you think about the label on it now? Just wondering.
Yeah, that's for sale.
Yeah.
I don't, the price tag, Alan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to take that out. I don't have a clone brush. I'm still learning skills as we go along. But one thing, Dave, by the way, if you'll notice the frame around the box.
Oh, yeah.
Remember last time I asked you how to do that?
Yeah.
So I learned how to do that. So each of these have a 5% frame. The program comes with 2 frames. You can eliminate one. Last week, Jim asked me if I can use color. You can use color, any color you want, but I just stuck with the white, and it really makes a more professional presentation. So I learned how to do that.
I like it, Dave. Yeah.
But Ellen, yeah, I understand about the tag and stuff. If I had more sophisticated software, I could take that out, right, Sandy? With
Go
a clone brush?
easily, yeah, or AI, yeah.
But, okay. This one's called Gumball Deco. See why?
That'd be Gumball Annie.
Gumball. This gumball machine was observed on Allen Street in Tombstone, and you can notice some peach pie also. Yeah, in a window. And this
Yes,
is a
please.
symmetrical flop. And so as it created that salt and pepper shaker, or the salt shaker in the middle. And then when I was working out the stained glass window piece, my brilliant wife figured out to flip flop or symmetrically flop the woman as well.
Mhm.
I'm stretching her all the way across.
Oh,
So she works with me on putting these things together.
well, tell her that was a
That
good
was
call.
her brilliant move
Yeah.
to flip flop that as well. So it's really Art Deco, pop art.
I think it's really good.
Is that fun,
Yeah,
Alan?
absolutely.
That's a
Thank
good
you.
call, yeah. And
It was fun making these.
I like this arch with the
Yeah.
little, almost like an M, yeah.
Alan, like your bikes, these are run in cartoon. So it creates textures
Yeah,
and, distorts the forms a little bit.
I like the colors.
I like the tins, the pie tins, yeah, you really did some
Yeah, the
nice
pie
things.
tins are fun. The top window is down in Bisbee in an antique store.
Hmm.
Oh, folks, a gumball Barker, come and get it.
Whoa, that is one big gumball machine.
Yeah, it is. It actually is.
Gumball Barker.
Yeah, Barker, like a carnival Barker.
Okay, I've never really,
Step right up.
didn't know that's what you called them. Okay.
And, this is all, she's a PNG file.
Hmm.
The environment is entirely recomposed with montage. And I shot her just driving around the trolley, out the trolley window in Monterey Wharf, Fisherman's Wharf. She was barking in, I think, to come see the pirate show or something like that. And the gumball machines are up at Santa Cruz Boardwalk. So, I put stuff together from all over the place.
Sure.
It's really good. And they look as if they belong there. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Really fun. She's got the alien. You can see a little microphone on her chin. She's barking people to come in and see the show, So that's a composite also running.
So are those gumballs or UFOs?
Yeah. alien
Could be
food.
Roswell, alien food, there you go,
Alien food.
yeah. Ooh.
And finally, folks, the gumball mandrel. So I'm creating this picture with a stained glass window. Jim Murphy, this stained glass was in Columbia City in Washington State.
Okay.
The gumball machine was at the Santa Cruz Wharf, and I started creating this, and I thought I was making an orangutan. And when I went on the internet to see if I could spell the word orangutan or orangutan, I noticed it looked more like a mandrel. So I call this one gumball mandrel. Okay, so there's my gumball series.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
A lot to chew through, huh?
Yeah, a lot to chew through.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
It's pop art day.
it is very
Pop
cool.
art.
It pops all right. All right, you're up, David. I wonder if a little vignette might help this out. A little vignette, I wonder if it might help this out a little bit.
There's a vignette, but it's light,
Yeah, maybe just a hair darker.
a little bit more. I
Yeah.
put a linear gradient on the bottom and kind of darken that,
Mhm.
so you can see that dark.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, nice.
Wow.
Oh, I like this one.
Black neck stilt.
Mm.
Awesome, thanks.
Oh, Sandy,
I'm looking closely on my computer, because right at his toe, there's a little bubble of water.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. What, Steve?
I was going to say, if you want to enhance the water, Neo's got water enhancement
Right,
editing too. So
yeah. Yeah, might be something. Do you have Neo or not?
No,
No, okay.
but I used camera raw. I put a linear gradient at the top and just kind of blurred it out, like getting the texture and the clarity down.
Yeah,
Same on the bottom, but then darkened it also.
yeah, that works. Bring the,
What
Yeah.
enhancement was Steve talking about there?
there's some environmental enhancements in Neo. One of them's water that have been added, maybe 2, 3 iterations ago.
They really neat forms and lines in this picture.
I don't know
Good
what it'll
capture.
do. I guess we could play with this in Neo. I haven't used the water enhancement that much. Well, that time it worked. Okay, let's take a look. All right, so if we go in the edit section. Oh, it's in the landscape area. All right,
yep, water enhancer.
so there's your water enhancer. So let's crank it up and see what it does here. Okay. Oops. Yeah. Interesting. So I guess you can make it bluer if you want. In this case, we don't. Yes. You want to get a little warm and cool going, you can play with that. You got contrast, which I would crank up. Yeah, I think that's helpful. Brightness, yeah. Maybe a little bit. Nice thing is it doesn't seem to affect the bird. It looks like it self-masks, which is
Yeah.
kind of nice. Yeah, a little bit on his neck, but I don't think it bothers anything. Let's see. Yeah. So I guess you could, yeah. And then there's a refine area. So I guess you could erase that area on his neck, I suppose. Take care of the little. areas. Yeah, there we go. So gives a little more punch.
Beautiful.
Definitely.
Kind of neat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like how it enhanced the little blue patch of water,
Hmm.
which is a nice, balance with the red legs, you know.
Yeah. The pose is just perfect. I love the way the legs go.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's really nice. Okay, cool. Thanks for bringing that up, Steve.
Ah.
Keep forgetting that one. Alrighty.
Basically going for the reflection on these.
Mhm.
Do,
Yeah, beautiful.
It
Very
is.
nice. Yeah.
I enhanced it in, topaz with a soft orange,
Okay.
which kind of sharpened it up a little bit,
Mhm.
adjusted the colors.
It looks like it almost put almost like an apparent shadow around certain areas. Yeah.
That's coming.
Yeah, probably from the effect. I would maybe clone this little line out, if anything, or soften it. That's the only thing that really grabs my attention, but yeah, the rest, unless you're really looking hard, I wouldn't notice it. Ah, rusty car is my favorite.
I was out trying to find some rust around the area,
I'm loving it.
found this old car and focused on the door.
Really good.
That's really good.
This might be worth the price of admission for Neo for you, because well, you could probably do some of it. Yeah, you could probably do some of it in Topaz too, but in Neo you can get,
Billings, Georgia.
yeah,
Blended
yeah,
a little.
yeah, you can get real grungy with it, like especially if
Perfect composition.
you start hitting structure hard. You hit structure hard and,
If you do that, then you get kind of back to the original.
oh, okay.
Oh.
I didn't know where you came from. Yeah.
Go to the blurry
Oh, okay.
gradient color.
Okay, I always go for the grit and the texture.
The door handle just came up in dark focus.
Yeah,
That's a big difference.
yeah, you can play around with it and have a pretty good time with it.
Changed it from the original. Dreamy look.
So you want more dreamy. Okay. Well, that's another look. Yeah, definitely.
Not that it's something people would dream about.
Please rust my car. Yeah.
Entirely same old color.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And just up the saturation, and I put it in topaz and put a chalk smudge filter on it at 80%.
Uh-huh.
And it just kind of
Yeah,
made it look like
Color field
supernova.
painting. Yeah, it's great.
that's fun.
It's-
Yeah. Supernova. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
I was
supernova.
thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the title right there. Perfect. Good. Good for you. That's very nice. I like that a lot. Did Jim Bowman show up? No? Okay. We'll save him for next time. All right, we'll go to Jim Murphy.
Oh, no, this guy's down at the pond and he's doing a good job fishing. Unfortunately, he's also catching some of the endangered pupfish.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's pretty far away and so it's not as sharp as it could be, but it looks sharp, you know.
Yeah, I'd probably come in a little tighter on him, you know. Never hurts. Yeah, get a little tighter on him, why not? Maybe,
It's just not as, I guess the forewing on the right forewing is pretty sharp, but the head and the eye aren't really as sharp as they should be, although the little fish doesn't look too bad.
no. Do you have Topaz AI?
Yes,
Okay. Mine won't upgrade because I guess they want more money. So I have to see what they want for upgrade, but
Mine doesn't work with a hoop, it only breaks the colors, and I've tried.
yeah, if you do raw, it does. So I've been taking tips and they seem to stay in the same color space. I don't know why.
Okay,
So rather than pulling the raws in, yeah, just do an edit in rather than the file plugin
okay.
in Lightroom, and that seems to work. Yeah, and I don't know if they fixed that in the newest versions or not, but they have this beta face recognition or something. I can't remember what it's called, but it really sharpens things up nicely. Let's see. I don't think mine's up to date, but take a look.
I think in Lightroom, they have the thing called super resolution.
Yeah, but that just brings up the pixel level to a larger size. It doesn't always sharpen it up.
Sharpen it.
Yeah. Yeah, see if I can hit up. Oh, it's upgrade available, not update available. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
So I guess my license is up now. Yeah, exactly. So where are you? This guy, right? Yeah, okay. So we'll drag him over here. Okay.
I used tried the sharpen program and it just didn't do much.
Mhm.
AI sharpen, that's AI sharpen.
Okay, so it's got denoise and sharpen. It looks like I picked that up a little bit, but there's this super focus beta, that's what it's called. So you grab that and you pick an area. Just let it do its thing. It takes a while.
So does that just focus in that one area or the whole?
No, it gives you a preview and then you go render it, which takes a while. Yeah, it's still working on it. There's a little
Probably a cloud-based thing.
blue progress, but probably, or maybe it's just hitting heavy on your VRAM, on your video card.
Cloud-based stuff, and
Now it looks like
Photoshop
it's,
takes longer because you're going.
yeah, now it looks like it's running through something else here. Well, while it's cooking, let's go look at some more images and we'll come back and revisit this. Okay,
Wow.
nice.
Yeah, another guy there.
It is nice.
You got low there, eh?
Was
You
that?
were down pretty low there.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit. Don't get down too far, you can get back up again, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting back up's always a
Looks like
problem
you might
these
have been
days.
in the water
Yeah.
almost.
No, I wasn't in the water.
Oh, is this over Canoa Ranch?
This is a canoe ranch, yeah.
Nice.
This is called a cinnamon teal.
Yeah, I remember seeing one of those a while back. Yeah, nice.
It's amazing.
It's a great shot, though. I like the way he's
Yeah.
got his head turned around, cleaning
The
up.
orange and blue, fantastic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Joy was covering for me in the studio class where we're going.
So this is
Thanks,
we're
sir.
supposed to be doing Rembrandt lighting.
Okay,
Yeah,
And where you get basically one side of the face is well lit and the other is kind of
Yeah.
drops off a little more dramatic. You get highlights on the cheek.
and you get that
But you get a
triangular
triangle ideally, yeah.
on your nose shadow, yeah.
Nice,
Mhm.
nice shot.
That is nice.
yes.
Almost has the feeling of possessed because of the way the highlights in the eye and the softness of it. But yeah, I like it. Nice.
Jim, did you soften the image at all, or is that just
It's
the
softened.
lighting effect?
No, it's softened,
softened.
maybe too much, Dave. It is definitely softened a lot.
It's kind of ethereal. I like it.
It's supposed to be a little bit kind of mysterious and.
Yeah,
Mhm.
gorgeous.
Has she seen it yet?
Yeah, she
Oh,
liked it.
Yeah, I bet she would, yeah.
She said, I look like I'm 16.
Yeah, right. Wipe all that age away. Yeah.
This one I worked on a long time. I never got it where I wanted it. But so I finally just said, I'm spending too much time on this photo. I quit. I was like, yeah. But also a kind of Rembrandtish kind of a lighting.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I saw some others you did of her from the previous session.
Right,
Yeah, looked a little better.
right. They were better. The
was more of
skin-
an
I messed
open
up the
like.
skin color on this and I could never get it back where I wanted it, but,
Mhm.
and then it's just too soft, a little bit too soft for me.
Okay.
So Jim, I missed that studio session. Is the light itself incandescent or is it halogen?
It's a flash. So it's like, I believe it's like a halogen, right?
No, it's actually daylight strobe,
Yeah.
daylight balancce
It's really
strobe.
warm, you know, the light.
Shouldn't be, it should be daylight balanced, but depending how your camera color settings are, or how you import it, what your settings are in camera raw, it can warm it up. There's
Well, I have
Paula.
to ask Paula what she thinks.
What do you think, Paula?
No, I'm missing my glasses.
Nice.
5 iron
It almost looks like a ring light, but
Well,
the way the Irish
I
carries it
messed with
around.
that. It was an octa, she was looking right into the, the octa. And I didn't like the way, it was a big round kind of octa, and I messed with the reflection bit,
Uh-huh.
and I reduced it down to that, but I should have brought the left eye up a little more so they matched better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, because the left eye's on the warmer, the brighter side and it's darker, so
It's
it
a
looks a
dimmer
little strange.
reflection.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's something you could do. Yeah, I like the softness.
He's facing, had her turn face directly into the light.
Yeah.
Shot, so.
Mhm. Nice. Let's see if this
Hi,
thing,
Sandy. Sorry I'm late.
there you are. Hey, no problem. Yeah, we'll get back to you in a minute.
Sure, no problem.
How you doing? You in Michigan?
I'm in Michigan.
All right, all right. Well, it looks like this has cooked.
To nice and warm Michigan.
Yeah, that's why you got a coat on. Well, I got long sleeves on. I'm here. So what can I say? It's not that warm here today. It's what, about 62 maybe? Something,
61, yeah.
yeah. So you can see this has come up a little bit. Where it did the render. So once you're done, you hit this render and it'll take a little while. So maybe we can let that cook while we're working. Well, it's not that big. Let's see.
The last 10%, it takes 3 hours.
Oh, yeah. No, it's 1%. 99% done forever.
Forever, yes.
Yeah. Here it's calculating now. It'll give you usually several minute.
Estimated time to complete, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see how that works out. Well, it's even taking a while to calculate it. All right. We'll revisit this in a little bit and see how it does. Okay. So good. Thanks. Those worked out nicely. So let's have a look at. Can I move that thing? No, I can't. It's like right over where I grab my desktop. Well, I guess we'll go back up to you, Jim.
Okay. Well, I've got some. I used the Topaz 3.0 AI the same, and with all these images, and I feel like they've done a really good job.
Oh, okay, cool.
So this is in Mexico. Again, I just wanted to follow up on some of the stuff that I did last time. I had to come back here and went through a surgery, but I'm good now.
Oh, good.
But anyway, so these are 5 images in Mexico about 10 years ago. But I tried this AI program and I just was so pleased with it.
Yeah.
Before and afters though.
Well, yeah, I could do that. Maybe I should have done it this time, but we'll do it next time if I do the AI, I'll get the before and after.
It's got really almost a 3D quality to it with the depth. Yeah.
But yeah, their faces and everything were really pleasing to me.
Mhm. Nice. Real nice. She's a looker.
Little cutie. So yeah, this was another working in poor areas of Mexico.
Mhm.
We were doing literacy at the time, and so I got to know these people, and so that's why they were so much more accessible to us.
Nice.
But this is, the shocking part about this whole thing is I just wanted to show the differences in the way people live.
Yeah, when you travel, it's pretty amazing how you notice the way different environments are and how people live, and usually they're happy with what they have, which is good.
That's
But
right.
these are more indigenous people, Jay.
Right. Yes. I worked with indigenous people for many years, so that's one of the reasons why I have these images. This guy lived in, I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're called the Lacandon people. And they ran and hid in the jungle when the Spaniards came in 1519. And they dress exactly the way they used to dress back in 1519. And they hid in the jungle, and they never found them again until about the late 1800s. So they're an amazing people.
Wow.
And it's just sort of, you talk about the time back machine. Boy, that is really time back.
Yeah, I'd say. Amazing.
Yeah, this is another guy. The AI kind of distorted some of the images around the background. And I think I learned a way to smooth that out a little bit with a new masking program, but I'll get to that one next time.
Okay. You can do selective masking, I believe, in AI, but it's a little clumsy because you got to click on something, wait for it to update and so on. I would probably try and get a little more shadow detail in here though, if you can.
Yeah,
Just a hint. Yeah, I think
yeah, no, for sure.
that'd be nice.
So this is in Guatemala, and these were some guys that were obviously cutting wood, and were just sitting down for a quick rest
Mhm.
before they went up those stairs.
Oh, goodness, yeah. So these are almost like backpacks to carry the bundles up, huh?
Yeah,
They put those things over their head.
Oh, they have the head sash. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
what?
Just, are these the head sashes? I know.
Yeah, one of the guys used a head sash, and then the other guy carried one up the stairs, and then he kind of put it on more as like a backpack. But yes,
Yeah. Wow.
both were being used.
Wow.
James, can I make a comment?
Sure.
Can he hear me?
Yeah.
James, you showed some of these pictures previously, and they're very fine photographs.
Right.
Very hard to get pictures where these people are comfortable with your presence. And the images are very interesting. And I would suggest that you make a booklet of these images. They're very fine photography, beautiful pictures.
Well, thank you. You know, I have a photographic booklet that I put together called Salt and Light. And it's sort of that idea. It doesn't have these same images, but it's a similar sort of treatment. And I think what I don't know about enough, and I should probably look into it, would be, you know, how do you publish something like this with a small quantity?
Well, you can do, now everything's digital, so you can do them on demand. So basically you don't have to shell out a bunch of money to do separations and buy, a quantity of books. You can just print them one off as you sell them.
I see, but
There's a
yeah,
number of online book providers that do that now. So,
the online book, like you have a one that's,
remember,
like you could
I'll send it
recommend or.
to you. I do at home. Yeah, I'll send you some because I was approached as well. That people said, "Oh, you got all these shows you've done lately, but you don't have a catalog. We'd like to buy a catalog of the show. We can't afford a print." And I said, "Oh,
Oh, I see.
but that's a great idea." So I'm going back and making those. So I'm researching it anyway. I'll get you some information.
Good. Because I kind of looked temporarily at a program called Blurb,
Blurb, yeah, that's one of them. Yeah.
and but I didn't really spend any time, just because I've been busy with other things.
Sure. Yeah. Well, health
Well,
comes.
Blurb functions right out of Lightroom, James. So if you've got Lightroom, you can go into the book portion of the menu and put together your book in Blurb or
Okay,
in Lightroom, and then send it to Blurb, and they print it, send you a copy.
And
and
they
it's
also
the
have,
printed version, you're saying?
Yes, and you also get a PDF version with it that you could, if you wanted to, distribute to whoever you wanted to distribute to.
Right.
I think they also have an online store where you can show.
Yes, they do. They do.
Sandy?
And And this is Lightroom,
Yes,
but
Yeah.
it goes through Blurb, is that it?
Yeah, if you have
yes,
it already, if you don't, you can just go online and create it, using their
yes,
software. I think they might even have a version you can download to your computer and do it on there and then,
yes, they do.
yeah.
But it makes it
So,
easy in Lightroom because you actually structure the book the way you want it. You can pick how it's going to be printed, whether it's going to be a magazine, a book, a lay flat, um,
right.
whatever you want. And you put it all together right there with text, pictures, whatever you need.
Yeah, because that's another thing that I was struggling with would be, these don't just stand alone. I have to write a story with
Yes.
Sure.
each
A little
picture,
blurb.
or at least a short paragraph.
Okay, Dave,
Yeah, James and Sandy also, and everybody here. Blurb is superb. They print beautifully.
Yeah, they do.
You get different sizes, like you just said, lay flat, booklet, paper, zine. But James, they have a template that's very easy to load. You put your images in high resolution and you just email it to them. And that's it. They do all the fulfillment. They print it beautifully. And Sandy, as you mentioned, you can put it in their online bookstore, and I have one for sale on the online bookstore.
and you can also, they'll store it, so as you
It's stored.
get orders, you just order how many you need. If you
That's
need
exactly.
one or 20, you're not out of pocket on it.
And who is this again? Which manufacturer,
Blurb,
program?
Blurb, Blurb.
Blurb, okay, Blurb, yeah.
I think they
Hey, well,
also
that's a
have,
good, that is a very good, excellent suggestion.
I think they also have a connection with Kindle or Amazon.
Yeah,
So
yeah, they
you
might
can,
do, yeah, like, ebooks, yeah.
yeah, you can sell it on
Because, you know,
Amazon.
I probably got 100 of these kind of images.
Mhm.
So it's got, I've got to learn, you know, like taper it down and figure out how big this thing should be.
Well, here's my thought, pick 10 or 12 and try that first. And then you can kind of work your way.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Otherwise, it
Yeah.
gets overwhelming. If you try doing 100 of them, you'll never do it.
Yeah,
You just go, okay, I give up.
right.
10 or 12 and just hit it, see what happens.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right.
And James, my book is 64 pages, 64 images, front to back, front, you know, on
Yeah.
every page.
Right,
And it costs $50, and they
Okay.
did a beautiful job to print.
nice,
It's worth having it, you know?
yeah. Well, yeah, it's like when I did all these shows at the beginning of the year, there's just nothing like holding a print in your hand, you know, rather than looking at something on a screen. It's just so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people have told me though that I'm too old. I like to print.
Oh, geez.
The other,
No.
I had a guy in here yesterday, you know, he likes the digital. Everything's digital for him,
Yeah,
but he's 31 years old.
right, right. Well, you know, everybody's got their way of either learning or seeing or liking things. You know, like my grandchildren, they can correct and do everything on the fly. Me, I have to print out something I've done on the computer and proofread it on
Right.
hard copy. I can't do it on the screen because inevitably I'll miss something. You know,
I hear you.
they just
It's our age,
they
so
learned. Well, no, it's a different paradigm. They'd learned it that way, and
yeah, that's true.
it's weird how you can miss something so easy
Yeah.
on the screen and then catch it on paper because your eyes just so trained on paper as we've grown up. Anyway, moving on. Nice work. Keep it up.
Yeah, that is good.
If you want to bounce a proof off of us, once you get a book in mind before you print it, let us know.
Okay, I will do that.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's go
Thank
to
you.
Paula. Yep, get them all there. Oh, you know, before we start with you, Paula, hang on. I'm gonna see if this thing cooked. No, it's just gonna take a long time. It doesn't even say how long. All right, there.
This is all.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
237
here it is.
minutes remaining.
Yeah,
So
we'll catch you next week.
Yeah,
All right.
that
So
you
much-
know that never
I think-
happened. I don't know what's happening with that one because I did my images in like a minute or two,
Yeah.
and
Well, I
I'm
think it's good.
I'm using the same Topaz 3. So I don't know what's going on with this particular image.
Yeah, me either. Maybe it's just got a lot to figure out there. All right. Well, let's get back to Paula.
Very nice.
That's an orchid that was taken at the Tucson Botanical Garden. And I just threw it on a black background, brought up the colors a little bit and textures.
Nice.
Hmm.
That black really makes it pop.
Okay, this is the 1929 Duesenberg Model J that's at the Tucson Auto Museum. And I
You
spent
stole
way
it?
too much. And I put it on changed the background entirely. I took it out of the museum, put it on the road, and
That's an interesting idea.
did a lot of work on getting the tires and some of the, bringing up the shadows a little bit. I almost wish it was black and white because I think it would be better in black and white, but
I like it.
That's great. Well, try black and white version, see what you think.
Good job blending it in, Paula.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Really good.
yeah.
And this is this is a grill of a 54 Kaiser Darren Roadster that was at the Tucson Museum. They're at a new location. It isn't open to the public yet, but the GVR Club, we went. I just like the grill. I left the highlights and everything on it pretty much, reflections. And I like the tone of the shadows underneath it.
Yeah, it's very abstract. I like it a lot.
Excellent.
You gotta roll. All right, we'll see you next time, Jim. Take care. All right, yeah, it's got a kind of a nice abstract look. I was trying to figure out what the reflections were, but it's
Well, the yellow is a chain link like had around it to keep people from getting too close on stanchions, so they just but all there. I just left all the reflections.
whoops, I hit the wrong button there. Hang on, let me get back. Where'd you go? Looks like it went away. Hang on, I know what happened. I must have. Let's close that. I must have unpicked, or did I delete?
Oh.
Hang on, Paula. What happened there? That was weird. Check my trash. Yep, there you are. Okay. I'm gonna put them on desktop, which it might take a little while for them to reopen. And there they go. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to that one. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay.
That may look really nice in black and white as well.
Yeah. I think what really sparks it up though is this little
Yellow.
tips of yellow. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go to this one, then I'll close this out and go back to the other three. Okay.
Okay, that is at the Huntington, and if I remember correctly, it's at San Marino, California, or somewhere. It's a museum, library, botanical garden thing. Some rich person had done all this. Anyway, that's a bridge with a reflection
Mhm.
with a Chinese pagoda type thing in the back.
Mhm.
That's nice.
Yeah. Probably rotate a little to get your horizon straight.
Yeah, that's I see that now. Yeah.
I think we're pretty good on that. Yeah, I like what's going on here. It's fun.
And you're right, Paul, it's in San Marino.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the far right, the far right one that's there.
Yeah.
I was just curious how it's such a different background.
I couldn't answer that.
It's probably something reflecting off the base of this house.
And it probably is, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you could tone that down a little bit, just so
Mhm.
the eye in so much.
Yep.
So back. Let's go back to your other three now. Okay, we saw that one already. So
This is the only one, yeah.
that's the way.
This was also taking at the Huntington, and I just zoomed in on a water lily and brought up the colors and some texture.
Mhm. That's really pretty. And was that oil paint in Photoshop or different?
There is a little bit of it, yes. I didn't want to do too much, but I
Yeah.
did want to bring up some of the texture.
Yeah, that works out nicely.
Thank you.
Very cool. Okay, well, thanks for bringing those in.
Great work, Paula.
Let's go to Steve Carr. One more. There we go.
Wow.
That is a lens
Oh, he's
ball
got
on
the
a light
boogeyman
bright
on it.
platform. So that's a lens ball on a light bright platform.
Yeah.
So you've been taking your medication again?
All the time.
Some of that. Oh, wow.
I think I want to get high with Steve here.
Yeah, you're gonna give me flashbacks here. Right. Very nice.
Was the guy in the middle deliberate, or it just kind of turned out that way?
That came out that way, James.
Wow, really cool.
It is.
So I think you might want to skip the next one. I think I've shown this one before, Sandy, the next one.
Yeah, maybe you did. That's really pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, come
Now
on.
Looks
the
like a
next three
slinky.
the next three are slinky fun.
Slinky fun. There you go.
Yeah.
This on,
And this,
it's on black plexi, or did you just step and repeat it?
actually, it's sitting on a mirror and,
Oh, here. Okay,
yes,
nice.
Wow.
That's good.
and it's just a cheap old plastic slinky.
Nice colorful one.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you use special lighting to make that pop like you did?
No, this was just shot in a light tent with one of my small stand lights,
A
an
stand light.
LED light. Yes.
Okay. Good piece, yeah.
That's fun.
So well photographed. I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah.
photograph.
And that is with a slinky, I don't want to say taped to the lens, but it was over the lens, shooting down onto a mirror, and then taken into Photoshop, a spherical filter applied to it, which gave it kind of that elongated, that elliptoid effect, and then mirrored over.
Mm.
And I can't stare at it too long because I keep wanting it to blink.
It's playing with your mind, this
I love
thing.
That's great.
Couple of white dots in the middle there.
Those are
No.
So more cheap fun.
Cheap thrills. Yeah, I think someone made an album like that, right?
Yeah.
Janice who? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Well,
And that's another slinky picture, but taken into Photoshop with a wave filter applied to it. A wavy filter.
wait, huh.
tortoise or a walnut. Yeah, I'm liking that. I like the fact that you're getting a little more detail going on here with the red, and it kind of disappears here, so it's a little more asymmetrical.
It looks like a
And here too,
like
yeah.
a clamshell.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome shot, Steve.
You're having a great time.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
pictures.
I'm loving it.
And I think I pulled that one into Neo. No, I know I pulled it into Neo and did a little neon glow around the outside.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Subtle
Oh, yeah.
blue neon glow.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah.
Very cool. Nice. Keep it up.
Yeah, Steve.
Keep it up. All right, Tim's coming next week, and I guess we're down to me. I did get everybody right. Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. This is just some stuff from my latest travels.
Oh, that is an old pancake house.
Yeah.
That
This
that's not Turkey.
no, this I was on the road for about a month up in Utah area and Arizona. This is coming into Arizona on I-40. Yeah, there's I'll bring some other pictures in later, but there's this attraction called Fort Courage, and underneath it said for sale.
The whole town.
Right next
No,
to
just,
the pancake
just
house.
the courage, just the
Yeah,
courage, not the
Just the
fort,
courage
just the
is for
courage.
sale, right? Exactly. So I thought, yeah, I got to do something with that sign. Haven't done anything yet, but yeah. So here's a pancake house. Got tagged a few times, I guess. I don't know what Taco Bell had to do with it, but there you
Yeah.
yeah, so that was kind of fun. And then this is in a little town outside of Salt Lake called Helper, Utah. And it's probably about 4 blocks long and the beginning of it was kind of a lot of rusted cars in a couple gas stations that were across from each other. Old Sinclair with the old pumps and everything. I'll bring
Yep.
up some shots of that later. And this woman pulled in, she said, "So how you like my vehicles?" I said, "Wow, this yours?" And she said, "Yeah." And she said, "We've got about 22 properties here." And turns out she told us about this Harley place that her brother or brother-in-law, I can't remember, had. So we went there next and he had more Harley stuff than I've ever seen. Harleys, Indians, you name it. But I kind of like this one little shot, which was up near
Mm.
the Lucky 13 helmet.
Hmm.
I'll be bringing some more of those in too.
Cool.
And this is just an iPhone shot. The light was pretty low in there. That's the outside.
Sandy, the focus is so wonderfully clear. It's just a joy to look at your pictures.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, it's so cool. The focus.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it's with using light and contrast. You know, I did quite a heavy vignette here. I sharpened this area up selectively to draw you in.
Oh,
You know, that's the outside. That was kind of a cool little set of murals and so forth.
Yeah.
oh, Sandy, Lowell?
Yeah, I'm down pretty low and I
No, the town of Lowell?
No,
Near
Helper,
Bisbee,
Helper, Utah.
Utah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Helper, Utah. It's outside of Salt Lake. About 45 minutes out.
Hmm.
And that's
Oh,
just one of the cars so far. Got there.
pretty
It
cool.
was kind of fun.
So great.
Good texture and that. It's amazing.
A lot of texture, yeah, that's, I
Yeah.
like to edge it up a little more than it is, but yeah. I like the complementary colors too,
Yeah.
just
That's nice.
couldn't pass that up. And that's my great grandson at the aquarium in Seattle. Yeah. He's staring in wonder at all those fish. And somewhere out in the boonies, we came across this towards sunset and it was up on a ridge and we were down low. So it was kind of nice shooting up on these guys.
Yeah.
It's almost like I was laying on the ground because they were up so high and got that kind of underneath perspective.
Yeah, it's a beautiful picture.
Oh, thanks. And that I believe is a golden eagle. I'm not quite sure, but
I think
from,
it is, looks like it.
yeah, from what I could tell, and I did use that topaz to sharpen him up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talons look sharp enough to me.
no kidding. Yeah. Yeah, it was just off.
So did you have to shoot him from much further away? Or
Yeah, I was
just-
pretty far. We were on the road and I got about 4 shots off and then he took off.
Yeah,
Uh,
because that's the problem I have.
yeah, Pam spotted him. It was pretty amazing. But yeah, that's with a 500. I think with a 2X extension on it. So it was pretty far away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a good crop right there, Sandy.
Yeah, I think I might crop military. Although I kind of
You like the
thought,
whole
No,
thing.
yeah, I kind of like the bend in
Yeah,
the,
sure.
yeah. And then this one is some of the wild horses over in northeast of Phoenix near Mesa, Arizona,
Yeah.
Salt Creek.
well,
Pretty
That's
animals.
nice.
Yeah.
That's a rare moment.
Didn't see any horses.
Yeah, we just got lucky.
But I got too hot anyway, and said, I can't do this.
Yeah, I've heard a lot. So everybody said, "Oh, you won't say anything, don't bother." But yeah, we just got lucky. We were coming over a bridge to maybe about a half mile from where we were going to look, and Pam spotted him out of the corner. Right, she said, "Stop, stop!" So we hiked on down. Yeah, I did about 3 or 4 shots to get this one. Of course, I shot a lot of other ones, but just with them rearing up, or a couple others where the white one was, bucking the back legs up and hitting the other one in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just kind of roughhousing. Yeah, yeah,
So the one on the left looks like it may have a little apple loose in it. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. So that's about it for this time.
Good stuff.
Right?
Yeah. All right. Let me.
Amazing variety of images too.
What great pictures today, huh?
Yeah, we really did. Let me stop the recording here.